Welcome to A Slice with Dice, a podcast exploring the ideas, pressures, and possibilities shaping how we learn, lead, and grow. I'm Corey Alderdice. For over 20 years, my work has lived at the intersection of gifted education, leadership development, and school culture, supporting students as they find their strengths, educators as they stretch their thinking, and schools as they build paths that expand opportunity. Ready to dive in? Here's this week's Slice. There's something most schools never put on a syllabus. It isn't measured on state assessments or printed on classroom posters. But it plays a bigger role in shaping a student's success than the periodic table, the Pythagorean theorem, or the 5-paragraph essay ever could. We call it the hidden curriculum. Now, the hidden curriculum is everything students are expected to know but are never actually taught, like how to email a professor, how to advocate for a schedule change, or how to figure out whether an internship is worth saying yes to. These are invisible lessons absorbed through proximity, privilege, or experience. And like any other form of knowledge, some students have a direct line to it. Others are left to decode it on their own. Today, I want to talk about what happens when a student has immense intellectual potential, but doesn't have access to that hidden curriculum. More specifically, what happens to high-ability students who grow up in low-income or rural communities where opportunity isn't the pipeline, it's the puzzle. These are the students who crush math tests, who read 2 grade levels ahead, who can code their way through a robotics build or write a poem that floors you. They are problem solvers, thinkers, potential change makers. But they often attend schools that don't offer AP calculus or any real pathway into competitions, mentorships, or early college coursework. They often don't know that getting into college isn't just about good grades. It's about knowing who to call, when to ask, and which invisible doors exist in the first place. And here's the paradox. These students are often overprepared academically and underprepared strategically. They know the subject but not the system. And that mismatch can turn potential energy into lost momentum. Think about the cultural capital it takes to succeed once the real work begins. Knowing how office hours work, understanding why networking matters, recognizing what a personal statement is actually supposed to do. Nobody holds a gifted kid after class to explain why an internship with a nonprofit will look different than one at a research lab, or that one comes with a paycheck while the other pays in resume weight. That kind of strategic knowledge isn't intelligence-based, it's environment-based. That's the reality of the hidden curriculum. It lives in context, not content. Now let's unpack another layer, social-emotional intelligence. These gifted students often grow up being the go-to kid in every project. They're the ones classmates assume will be fine. But when they get to a selective summer program or an elite college campus, that confidence sometimes crumbles. Suddenly, they're not the smartest kid in the room. Suddenly, everyone else seems to know what committees to join, what internships are competitive, and how to ask for a letter of recommendation. And a lot of gifted kids don't have the practice or the permission to say the words, "I don't understand." Even if a student is brilliant, they don't know how to ask for help or how to process failure or how to collaborate with someone whose background is different from theirs. That brilliance, then, is limited. The hidden curriculum often includes what we call soft skills, except none of them are actually soft, they're foundational. So what do? We build the systems that don't currently exist. That starts with naming and unpacking the assumptions baked into some opportunities. What if no one ever explained that an unpaid summer internship requires financial flexibility, or that dual enrollment courses often come with hidden fees, or that high school students from rural areas aren't just selecting college, they're considering transportation, housing, and whether they've ever even been on a college campus before? We don't just teach students how to write a scholarship essay. We teach them why the essay matters, how to ask someone to read a draft, and why starting 3 days before the deadline might not be the most strategic move. We build bridges through proxy access and networks of belonging, virtual mentorships, peer cohorts across schools, connections with alumni who've gone on to succeed, because it's a lot easier to imagine a future you've actually seen a little of. And perhaps most importantly, we treat talent as more than a test score or a percentile ranking. We treat it as potential that requires culture, confidence, and context to turn it into something lasting. You see, it's not enough to identify giftedness. We have to develop it. And not just academically, but holistically, especially when students are trying to navigate systems that weren't built for them in the first place. Now, the hidden curriculum might be invisible, but its effects are not. And for far too many bright, capable students, especially those from low-income or rural backgrounds, it remains the missing link between what they already know and what they don't yet know they need. So here's the work ahead. Make the invisible visible. Teach what's assumed, connect what feels out of reach, and make sure the students with the greatest potential don't have to rely on luck or proximity to learn the rules of the game. Not just because they deserve better, but because we need their brilliance in the world. A Slice with Dice is a production of Aldercube. Thanks for making time to reflect with me. If you're finding value in these episodes, I hope you'll subscribe and help spread the word. Until next week, lead boldly, listen closely, and keep pushing forward. I'll see you then.